You woke up. The first thing in your head is, did I dream last night? I think I was sitting on a giant singing banana. You try to bite it off, but your brain had another plan. You stumble into the kitchen, open a fridge, and stare at the milk for full 2 minutes. Not hungry, just contemplating. Why is it every morning it's always a milk thing that makes us question our entire life? Then you start screwing your phone, a psych influencer pops up and says, you keep falling for toxic partners because you unconsciously want to make up for your dad's absence in your childhood. You try to close the app but accidentally click on a quiz titled, do you secretly want to sleep with your mom? Result, 80%. You gasp! Then realize this is what might be the part of the problem too. Welcome to the world of Sigmund Freud. Where the more you try not to think something, the more he insists you do. In 1856, Sigmund Freud was born in a small town in what is now the Czech Republic. He was the first child of his father's third marriage and the firstborn son of his young mother, Amalia, who was only 20 at that time. To her, he wasn't just a baby, he was a destiny in diapers. She called him my golden Siggy, the kind of a love so exclusive that every sibling born after instinctively knew the spotlight had already been taken. Freud would later turn this dynamic into the theory: when you are your mother's undisputed favorite, you carry through life the feeling of a conqueror, a confidence that usually proves justified. From the very beginning, he believed he had been chosen by fate. But childhood wasn't all good. One day, after waiting the floor of his parents' bedroom, his father looked down at him and said coldly, "The boy will never amount to anything." Why did I mention this? Because in a sense, Freud's childhood became the stage for his lifelong theater of unconsciousness. In that theater, every memory became a footnote to a theory. Consciousness, he asked, isn't the iceberg. It's just a tiny tip above the water. Beneath it lies everything we don't want to know. Our urge, our fear, our awkward obsession with things that shouldn't matter. You think you like the fried chicken. Maybe it's because your mom gave it every time you got an A. He called this hidden ocean the unconscious, and he insisted it wasn't just there, it was driving the boat. Second, Freud gives the mind 3 voices. Id, the wild thing inside you that you want: sex, snacks, and stabbing. Ego, the tired mediator that says, it's not. Superego, the inner parent, teacher, priest, judge, or passive-aggressive aunt holding a whip. Why don't you eat fried chicken for breakfast? Not because you don't want to, but because your superego says that's inappropriate. In summation, the psyche is a civil war. You are the battlefield. Here comes the part that everyone loves to misquote. Freud didn't say you literally want to sleep with your mom. He said as a child, your earliest attachment is to her, not just emotionally, but in a primal, possessive way. You want her all to yourself, which means that be the problem. This is also why mommy issues called Oedipus complex, but we won't dive into it today. Next video or next issues. And so, deep in the shadow of the child mind, a fantasy is born. If only he were gone, I could have her. Oh my god, this kind of thing eventually you repeat that thought. And it never gone. It changes costume and show up 30 years later in your dating history. You think you fall in love, Freud think you found your mother again, just a different body. The interpretation of dreams. In Freud's world, every dream means something. Dream about losing teeth, not dental issues, but fear of impotence. Dream of swimming, it's a login for the womb. Dream of murdering your boss. You want a promotion, or you just want to murder your boss. So was Freud insane? Plenty thought so. He was hooked on cocaine, constantly wrote dramatic letters about his mother, and most of his theories are unfalsifiable. So you don't have a mommy issue. That's because you repressed it. So your dreams aren't violent. Your unconscious is afraid to admit it. No matter what you say, he flip it back on you. The original gaslighter, or the first ever pickup artist in human history. And yeah, you can't help but feel Freud hit a nerve. Much of life is spent sabotaging ourselves. You fall for people you know are wrong for you. You want to live better but end up scrolling TikTok at 2 a.m. All seems well, but when you close your eyes, your brain replays a childhood moment when nobody picked you up. That's not mysticism, that's unresolved emotional sludge. Freud showed us we are not rational beings. We are puppies of desire, fears, fragmented memories, and parts of ourselves we are never dared to meet. In today's world, we drown anxious in coffee, confusion in cardio, and trauma in productivity. We don't fail at dreams due to lazy. We fail because we never ask ourselves why we are dreaming them in the first place. In his words, being entirely honest with oneself is a good exercise. Human greatness lies not in repression but in recognition, not in ears in the dark but in giving it a name. So maybe you are still unsure, did Freud really want to sleep with your mom? Relax. Even he didn't want you to do that, because he just wants to remind you behind every normal adult is a chaotic, wounded child, desperately trying to be understood. And maybe real freedom isn't about controlling your urge, but seeing them, naming them, and saying, I see you, I'm not running anymore. It's Joya in your playlist of kinda of. Next issue, we'll talk about the breakup between Freud and Jung. Just hit the subscribe, see what happened. Bye.